For the first page, you need to remember that y equals ax minus h squared plus k. That's your vertex form, also known as your standard form. Your standard polynomial form is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. This is not as important as this one, though. This is super important right there. Now, if you know this, you'll be able to find the vertex, which is hk. Notice that the h here is a negative, and right here the h is positive. You always think the opposite when you're inside the parentheses with the x. All the problems on the first page are made easier if you know how to write the polynomial in vertex form. Now, only quadratics can be written in vertex form. A quadratic makes parabolas. So this is what a parabola looks like. In the middle of a parabola, we have something called the axis of symmetry. It goes straight up and down, right in the middle of the parabola. And it's called the axis of symmetry because on one side you have one point, it matches another point on the other side of it. It has symmetry. And this axis of symmetry, this line right here, goes right through this point. And that point is your HK. So, how would you define, how would you label the axis of symmetry? It's a line. How would you label it? Okay, it's x equals, because if you had a line that went straight up and down on a regular graph, it crosses the x-axis, and it would be x equals. Now, this graph right here, we'll say 1, 2, is x equals 2.5, because it goes straight up and down. If we're to go horizontally, then that would be the y equals, but that's not what we need right now. We need x equals. So for this axis of symmetry, we would say x equals what? X equals h. Ooh, h. Hey, I know h. H is right from the vertex, and we can get h from the vertex form. That is how you find your axis of symmetry. Now, there is a formula for it. If you were to take the general form of this quadratic in standard polynomial form, and you were to complete the square for this one, you would get something that looks like this. Y equals ax minus b over 2a squared, and then plus c minus a times b over 2a squared. Okay, now this part's kind of it's confusing how we get here, and if you know how to complete the square, if you're really good at it, you'll be able to see why we get that, but it's not important to me right now that you know how to get that. What's important to me is that you can see that our h is, whoops, actually it would be this. Our h is negative b over 2a. So to get an h, you just have to go negative b over 2a. Or you can say x equals, but that gives you the axis of symmetry. Now, another thing I want to remind you guys about is how parabolas can be upside down like that, or they can be right side up like this. How do I know if it's upside down like this one? Depending on the a. If the a is negative, then it would have an upside down parabola. If the a is positive, then you would have a right side up one. Okay, now this is the difference between these two. The one that's upside down has a vertex on top. The one that's right side up has a vertex on the bottom. The vertex on top, that one is called, which one do you think it is? The max or the minimum? Yeah, this is the max. And your max is the k value. That is your max right here. The minimum is the k for the one that's right side up. So we have hk, and that's your k. It's your minimum. So we'll say minimum. Sometimes it says maxima or minima, but what matters is that you know how to find it. Max and min. They're both the k. Yeah, the HK is the vertex. So that's all the vocabulary. What's the most important thing besides this is just knowing how to complete the square.